I can't emphasize enough how important good questioning is. Case in point, dude, I love the conversations that my daughter and I have when I'm taking her to school. Part of the reason is because it gives me new material because it's for the sales life. Because it's cool to get a young person's perspective. She's just a freshman in high school, so she's getting to be a young lady. And she was telling me recently she was in the classroom and she had her hand up for a long period of time, and the teacher finally called on her. And when she called on her, the kid next to her jumped in and said, "Hey, I have a question, and I'm sure it's the same one as Mackenzie's." And he went ahead and asked this question. He didn't wait for permission. And I could tell she was frustrated. So I said, "Well, what was the answer to your question?" And she was like, "I don't know. I never asked it." And I'm like, "Why not?" She was like, "Well, the teacher just went about her way and didn't come back around to me." And I told her, "You should have pursued that and got your question answered." And she said, "Dad, I was pissed off. And so it probably would have came out wrong or with the wrong tone. And I would have got in trouble not only by the school, but also by you. And I don't want that." And I said, it's in these moments where you can learn to practice emotional regulation and maturity. Because if you don't start the practice now, you're never going to get around to it. It's when your emotions are heightened and you can dampen those things down that you can actually try to convey a message. And this is where you're aware of it and you push those emotions down. You don't add any extra funk to it or anything like that. You remind yourself of the purpose of getting this question asked. Because here's what's going to happen. If you don't start practicing asking questions now, you're going to live an assumptive life. And that's what happens. I mean, name the exact moment when you became an adult. It's a gradual erosion of childhood and an increase in adulthood and responsibilities. And what happens is when you get conditioned on not raising your hand, on not having your questions answered, you just walk away with assumptions. And you have this big, huge world that you initially play in, and living out of assumptions and not asking questions, no matter how minor they are. You narrow, you narrow, you narrow, you narrow, you narrow until you find yourself middle aged, full of regret, pissed off because you wonder what if. You have to learn to ask your questions. If you're in high school, kids, ask questions. I don't care what the question is, learn to ask the question. If you're in college, ask the question. I don't care that nobody in the classroom is asking. You pay a lot of money to sit in front of that professor. And if he can't answer it right then and there, then you find his office hours and you sit outside until he's there. You ask the questions because you want to keep your options open. You want to keep your world vast and wide. You want to see your opportunities all manifest, but they're not going to if you start assuming, or if you ask other people that are on the same level as you, if not less, or you're asking a bunch of adults who have given up on their life and wish they had your life. You're asking them their opinions, and they're not qualified to answer them. Think about it like this: sports reporters don't wait to be called on, they throw the questions in that athlete's face. And they're hoping that whatever they say will trigger something because you got all these different reporters that are barking. Everybody's yelling their question. How can my question get answered? So sometimes they're in the back and they hurl that question over, and that athlete looks up and is like, and it triggers an emotion and becomes a soundbite. That's the kind of mental approach that you have to have. And I'm not saying that you do it physically where you jam your questions down somebody's throat, but you're persistent in your mind in getting your questions answered. I mean, think about as you go through your day, how many assumptions that you make, how many periods are in your state, how many statements you make. Very few questions. Very few. You say, it's not going to work. They're not going to buy. I'm too old. I'm too late. I should have got started a long time ago. I'll never get out of debt. See, these are all just statements. And you wonder why your life's not different. It's not going to be different because you're not piquing the curiosity. You're not saying, well, what could I do? You know what? I am 60 pounds overweight. What is the first couple of things I need to do? And this is where you get into the art of asking questions. Question the answers to a beautiful life are all in the questions that you ask. And so begin asking questions. It's a muscle. Begin to flex it. And dude, I don't care how stop putting regulations in your mind and be like, well, that's a dumb question. Oh, I don't want to look stupid. I don't have a problem with that. Because if you ask questions, number one, you're going to push your ego down and you're going to say, I don't know anything about that. Tell me more about that. I've never heard of that job title before. I tell people that all the time. Customers sit in front of me. I'm like, what do you do anyway? And they tell me, I'm like, what exactly does that how do you get started with something like that? Wow. People don't mind talking about what they've devoted their life to. Ask the questions. If you're thinking about getting into real estate, go find a buddy or you come across somebody in the parking lot who's got the magnet on the side that they're a real estate broker and say, look, man, I've always been interested in real estate. What would be a couple of things that I would need to even think about or get started on? That wouldn't cost me much at all, just to get started, just to see if it's something that I want to do, right? See, these are questions. If it's mobile home parks that you want to start buying, go and find the mobile home park owner and you ask them, how did you get started in all this? What if you don't have a lot of capital? See, we live in these states. Oh, I don't have money to do that. Dude, starting is free. And I don't care from whatever level. If you want to start a podcast, same thing. I can't tell you how many years I wasted not starting a podcast because I felt like I had to have the special cameras, I had to have the green screen, I had to have the special computer. No, I needed a cell phone, free app, and a message. And that was it. And that's how I got started in October of 2017. The Anchor app, I sat in my closet, I wrote out 2 pages on a legal pad, and I read it word for word. As I've come across other podcasters, then I've asked them questions about the creatives that they do. And now I'm in a position, almost 800 episodes, where people come to me and say, man, I'm thinking about getting started. And I've told people, talking to them on the phone, it's like, bro, you need to get your message out there and do it in the form of a podcast. See, these are things that I want you to focus on today. And just as minor as you think they are, if you're a sneakerhead and it's a pair of shoes, you say, bro, I love them. Where's your source? Where's your plug? Where do you normally get them from? And they may tell you something, and then you open up from there. And then one thing leads to another. And next thing you know, you start your own YouTube channel talking about the shoes that you just got and how you like the design of them. My brother-in-law, when he gets a new pair of Jordans, he like breaks it down. He shows, dude, I just slip them on. I just like the style. Him, what he does is, dude, he shows me the design. He shows me how they put everything together. He shows me the attention to detail, things that I didn't even know about. Super interesting. Got to ask the questions, man. If you're stuck or you find yourself frustrated in life, I guarantee you, if you take just a few days and analyze how many statements am I making versus how many questions am I asking, you're going to be shocked. Shocked. Just start asking the questions today. All right? Keep it simple, keep it moving, never settle, keep selling. Stay in the sales life.